Welcome back to What's New in the Lou with Alexis Zotos, presented by Caldi's Coffee. This is your can't miss weekly podcast, helping you stay in the know in St. Louis. So that means the best events happening around the area, the new restaurants that are opening, but most importantly, the people that continue to make the St. Louis region the best place to live and visit. Stick around to the end of the episode because I am going to give you a full calendar of events happening this week, so you know exactly all the fun stuff that is going on around St. Louis. And we are in the full swing of summer. And personally, I think there is nothing more quintessentially summer than going and picking your own fruit. Now, whether you are popping into a farmer's market or actually going out onto the orchard to pick your own, you've got to do it. It's a summer bucket list item. And who better to talk about it with than Chris Eckert, which you guys are one of, or if not the biggest, pick your own orchard in the country, in the region.
Why not? Yeah, we're big.
You guys are really big, and you've been around for a really long time.
Yeah, I'm seventh generation of my family to farm in southwestern Illinois. And we just started with our eighth generation coming back into the management team of the business.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that is one of the things that we're most excited and proud of, is that we've got another generation interested.
And that has to be something that is such a proud moment. I mean, that's a big part of a family farm, is to make sure that the next generations want to stay involved.
Yeah, I think it is. It's challenging. It's
I'm sorry. Farming's not easy work.
with family too. But having a younger generation get involved is exciting in multiple ways. One is it's kind of a reflection of how relevant we can remain as a business, that we have a young generation that is interested in jumping in and taking the reins. It's also invigorating for us now that we are the older generation.
The older ones.
Admit that, but as we've kind of gotten more entrenched in our style and what we do, you kind of get set in your ways a little bit. And now you've got new perspective and energy that challenge us. That's really healthy for us. And it's also gives us energy to get up and do things and look at things in different ways and try new ideas. So it's really a healthy thing for the business overall.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like most people, if they live here, they have heard of Eckert's. They know it, but they might not know the history. Can you give us a little brief biography of the farm there and your family's history with farming?
Sure. We are German immigrants, came in 1837, settled just on the eastern side of Freiburg initially. Farmers, traditional farmers when we got here, probably raised grain, livestock, and some fruit. And the way the story is written is that the original Johann Eckert had several sons, and he bought a farm for each of his sons to kind of carry on in the farming tradition. And the line of Eckerts that I descend from, he bought his farm a little further away from the other brothers because he was not quite as pious as the others.
Okay.
So we are definitely descendants of the black sheep of the family, I guess. So he was Michael Eckert, and he was the first one to really start commercial fruit production. That was right outside of Fayetteville, Illinois. Right. And we still have that farm in our family today. Then his son, Henry Clay Eckert, married Mary Miller, and they went about buying her father's farm, which is where our Belleville farm is today.
Okay.
So that farm has been in the family since the 1870s. And we began doing retail there at that location in the 1920s. Our first store was built in 1927.
So we're almost at the 100-year anniversary.
Yeah, we actually had a rented store prior to that in 1910, but we will be celebrating 100 years at that location in next year. And that original building is where our restaurant is today.
That's incredible. I mean, there is so much history. You can sense it when you're there that this is a place that has been around for a while.
Well, we're old German farmers. We don't tear anything down. We just add a lean-to and repurpose it. So, but we have had I think, been blessed with many generations of entrepreneurial spirit in our family. So I think there's been kind of a pathway of evolution, just trying things, not being afraid to change what we do. So that is kind of bred into us, that we have this appetite for changing the business and remaining relevant for consumers today, because what people want today is very different from what they wanted 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah. How early on did you know that this was a path that you wanted to take, that you wanted to be in the family business?
Yeah, I grew up on our Millstadt farm and always had a passion for the farm. My parents were actually telling stories about how annoying I was at my birthday dinner just last week. So it was,
well, happy belated birthday.
Yeah. So we were, I was very much engaged with everything going on the farm, and I was just had a passion for it for as long as I can remember. That being said, our family has rules that you cannot come right back into the family business. You need to get a college degree. You need to work outside of the family business for 2 years. And so I did all those things. And as soon as there was an opening for me to come back in after I'd kind of filled my requirements, I came back in and started working the business in 1996 was when I started.
How have you seen it grow and evolve in your time?
I think, in a lot of ways, at our fundamentals, we're still the same business. I think the biggest difference is we've just grown in scale. So the business is much bigger than what it was 30 years ago, but we still are farmers, in our roots. We love growing things. We love raising fruit, especially. And we really love the connection of sharing that with our guests. People coming directly to our farm and having that experience of taking a piece of fruit right off the tree and tasting it is really, so tactile and creates such great memories. It's a special thing for us.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I think it is quintessential to so many people's childhood memories. And, as a mom now, getting to now share those memories with my kids is so fun. I mean, my kids ask me all the time, when are we picking peaches? I'm like, well, it's not peach season yet, but we're getting close.
Yep.
So talk to us about summer. We are in when this episode officially drops, we'll be in June, and you guys have a lot of exciting crops coming up.
Yeah, summer is peach season.
Yeah.
That's what we really think about. It's not the only crop we grow. We are going to start with black raspberry. Well, we're currently picking strawberries, but we will be starting here in about 10 days picking black raspberries.
Which in black raspberries are really interesting. People don't get to experience those really often.
They're fleeting. So they only last about 10 days.
Wow.
And they're very fragile.
So you have to keep an eye on Eckert's social media to know exactly when they drop, because you got to get out there, right?
There's usually only 2 weekends that they're available. And they're very small and delicate. So they're not available in retail markets ever.
Wow.
They're really only available frozen or as a jam, so black raspberry jam is something you can get. But we took a chance on it. We didn't know how much interest there'd be, but surprisingly, it's been quite, successful for us. So we've increased our production of black raspberries. That being said, we went from 2 to 4 rows. It's not like we have hundreds of acres, but they're very small berries, so it does take a little time to harvest them, and the season is very short. So it is fleeting. You have to get there and get them while you can. Yeah. But that is our kind of gateway into summer, and then we go right into peaches. Will be right about the same time. I'm anticipating first harvest this year is going to be about June 1st. We're everything's running early. So all the flowers were early this spring. So that means all the fruit crops are going to be early. So we're about 2 weeks ahead of normal ripening schedule.
Okay.
And the first peaches that we harvest are cling peaches. They're not the most desirable, but we have them because they're the first ones to ripen. So they'll be starting the first week of June, probably go for about 2 weeks with cling peaches, and then freestone peaches start to come in about mid-June. And they'll go all the way until the end of August. So we grow more peaches than any other thing on our farm. And a lot of people don't realize that about Eckert's.
Right, because I think a lot of people still think about you guys as what, apples? I mean, I think that's what most people think of. But peaches are really the predominant tree crop, yeah?
We grow a little over 300 acres of peaches.
Okay.
And we grow about 100 acres of apples.
Oh, wow.
So it's, 3 times the amount of acreage. But peaches are not as big of a pick your own crop as apples are. So we have a lot more guests coming to the farm in the fall than we do through the summer months. Most of the peaches we grow are for the wholesale market. So, that's why you can find them at Schnucks and Whole Foods. And we're going to be up in Wisconsin this year.
Oh, that's exciting.
And, out in western Missouri. So, we do distribute through a pretty broad area with our peach crop. And apples, we only sell through our own retail locations.
Gotcha. Peach season is really special, and I think, yes, picking an apple off the tree is great. There's nothing better than a peach straight from the tree. Like in the heat of summer, like it's warm, it's juicy. Like there's nothing better than that, I think.
Yeah. So peaches are definitely about the product eating experience because the saying I always tell everybody, the best peach is a fresh peach. Once it's harvested, it's a ticking time bomb. It only has, at maximum, 3 weeks before you throw it away.
Oh, yeah.
And that's in perfect storage conditions. So
what is the perfect storage condition for a peach?
Below 35 degrees.
Really? I should be keeping my peaches in the fridge?
Yeah. Well, there's two
freezer?
things.
Wait.
We can get really nerdy about
what is the temperature of my refrigerator? I don't even know.
Yeah. So normally your refrigerator is at the wrong temperature because it's typically at about 40 degrees.
Okay.
And that is the problem. Most people take their peaches.
Wait, I usually leave mine on the counter. So
most people take their peaches and put them in the refrigerator and keep them there for 2 weeks. And it makes them taste like cardboard.
Yeah.
Because they get an internal breakdown. So it's either better to keep them above 55 degrees or below 35 degrees.
Okay.
So they're very finicky. That being said, the best thing to do is to eat it as soon as possible. I tell people all the time, don't buy big quantities of peaches and make one trip for the summer. Go frequently and enjoy them while they're fresh because the best peach is a fresh peach. And you only get that for about 2 months to 2.5 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Don't pick a whole bunch and take them home and expect them to last, all summer long. That's going to be a real recipe for disaster.
USA Today readers have named Caldi's Coffee the best coffee chain for the second year in a row. Since 1994, Caldi's Coffee has built its reputation on thoughtful sourcing, careful roasting, and warm, consistent service that shows up in every cup. It's an honor earned through daily dedication to quality. Explore Caldi's best blends and find your cafe at caldiscoffee.com. Do you have a favorite crop that you guys grow?
Oh, peaches.
It's peaches.
Yeah, I love, and my tagline is always, I'm always peachy when somebody asks me how I'm doing. But I
mean, that feels fitting.
Yeah, it's a little goofy, but I just love the challenge of peaches. This is about as far north as you can grow peaches commercially.
Okay.
Because they don't like cold weather.
Yeah.
If it gets below 0.
I know you guys have had some rough peach seasons.
Yeah, you're telling me. It's been a few years in a row that we've had some challenge years with peaches. And that's why not many people grow peaches in this area. In fact, we're the only ones silly enough to do it. So, but we, I think the result is you get a climate that produces very sweet and large peaches. You have to endure the losses, but we do get rewarded with really high quality fruit when it does produce. And this is a year where we're going to be having a record amount of them.
That's amazing. I mean, what does that mean? And what does that feel like for you guys to look down the pipeline of this summer and know how many peaches you guys are about to harvest?
Yeah, growing fruit is just, a line of anxiety attacks. So first we're worried about them freezing, then we're worried about the frost damage. And then it's like, holy cow, now we have a crop. Well, now we're worried about selling them and picking them and getting them out the door. But the challenge that we will face, because peaches, they're the boss. They tell you when you have to pick them. You cannot wait. Apples are a more durable fruit, so you can harvest them over a longer period of time. You can put them in the cooler and let them stay there for a long time. Peaches, it's like these have to be picked today. They have to be packed today. They have to be out the door tomorrow. Otherwise, they're going to throw them away.
Wow.
And so it's just this crazy, just anxiety provoking and adrenaline pumping season where you just have to run through it. And at the end of it, you're wrung out, but it's just a lot of reward to see it all happen.
And why people might hear that and say, gosh, why do you do it? Why do you stick in a business that, causes so much stress?
We ask ourselves the same question because it's a little like, what are we thinking? But no, I think it's because the quality of the product is so good. And I think the reward for us is to see the response from our guests and just how much they enjoy the product. People literally thank us for doing what we do all the time. And how many people get to be in a business like that, where not that people are just buying your product, but thanking you for doing what you do.
Well, I think especially if you even take peaches, for example, after a long winter without a good peach, you realize how great it is to have peaches that are grown in your area.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much a product differentiating season. The peaches, and the only thing I can compare it to is like tomatoes.
Tomatoes,
like
same thing. Like
homegrown tomatoes are a similar experience.
Mm-hmm. And, you guys are a big farm, but at the scale of things, when you look at the farming industry as a whole, you guys are still a small guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Compared to commercial peach orchards in South Carolina or California, where they're going to be raising thousands and thousands of acres. I think the largest peach farm in California was at 15,000 acres at one time. South Carolina, it's 6,000 acres. So much, much bigger scale than what we are doing. But I think the climate that we are in, that would not be smart for us to put that many eggs in one basket. It's just too big of an exposure when you can lose crops as frequently as we do.
Why are small family farms like yours so vital to not just our communities, but, our nation as a whole?
Well, I would say, our farm obviously is a very unique twist on farming because we're doing direct to consumer, pick your own, and entertainment. We call it agritourism type of farming. The purpose and what's great about what we do in our industry is the agritourism opens opportunities for new farmers. There's a lot of people who are just getting started in agriculture through agritourism because it allows you to operate on a pretty small footprint to get started and then grow through the profitability of the business. Because the business can be very profitable if it's a husband and wife team and they're doing all the management themselves. It can work for people who enjoy the work, because it's a hands-on business. But so I think for what we do in agritourism, it is vital for small farms to get engaged and keep that energy alive, because we have seen also the other end of that where we've had, farms or families that have been in it for a while and built up really successful businesses that are very complex and challenging to operate. And then another generation may not be interested or have the capacity to take that on. And so we need this kind of new crop of young people getting into the industry to keep it vibrant and have the product available for guests all over the place, not just here in St. Louis, but everywhere. Well,
and I think one of the reasons that it is so great for that next generation is because it is one of the only places that you can really get hands-on with your food. It's so important today more than ever for kids to have an understanding of where their food's coming from and to be able to be out there and pick a strawberry from a field, pick a peach from a branch. It really connects you to your food.
I think it's even more than that. I of course love farming and I love that part of the experience, but I think there's just this hunger right now for something real to do. These experiences that are not virtual, they are very tactile and immersive. And that's exactly, this is like taking a trip back in time and going to a farm, right? And it's right here, right now. So, and it's beautiful. You're out in the fresh air, you're, away from traffic, you're away from buildings, and, you're just experiencing something that's very much human and nature put together.
Yeah. You guys have expanded in a lot of ways beyond just the pick your own, beyond the farming, to really create an experience kind of place. Tell me some of the things that you guys have done that have really helped bring that sort of next generation, keep them interested, keep those families coming back summer after summer, fall after fall.
we find that introducing new attractions and activities is key to getting interest from our guests. So we get repeat visits from our guests, because a lot of people, they might want to pick peaches or pick apples, but they're not going to want to pick apples twice or three times. So we have to keep coming up with different ideas to give people reasons to come out to Eckert's and experience something unique and new. So this year, the newest attraction we added was a tulip festival. That was just a couple months ago, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, we planted 300,000 tulip bulbs, and we had a trail to walk through it with photo scenes, and a cutting patch where you could go cut some tulips. And it was so much fun, and it was a very different audience. I believe it was. I think at the end it was 73% of the traffic were new customers for us.
Wow.
Yeah. So
did that surprise you?
It totally surprised us, and just woke us up a little bit to like, oh, there's a lot of people out here craving these type of farm experiences that we haven't tapped into yet. And so it just gives us energy to keep coming up with new ideas to try to keep people engaged. Last fall, we did Jack's Lighted Trail, which was a nighttime lighted pumpkin trail at our Belleville location. It was not haunted. It was, kind of a nighttime Halloween theme, but it was friendly for all ages.
Not too spooky.
Not too spooky. And we had a bar we set up out in the field, and very photo, friendly, immersive experience. And that was very successful for us as well. So
and you guys will do that again this year?
We are. Yes, we are going to do it. We were just working today on getting new scenes and ideas lined up for putting into the trail for this fall. So we're underway with that.
Because we're also surprisingly not far away from pumpkin planting, I'm sure.
We are about 3-4 weeks from pumpkin planting.
Right.
So
but
we're
that's
prepping now. Yeah, so we're right there. Yeah, we're starting the prep for pumpkin season.
I almost imagine you have to constantly be thinking seasons ahead. You can't, when I'm saying happy summer, you're like, wait, we're already thinking fall.
Yeah. That's part of the farming cycle.
Yeah.
And then we are going to expand our sunflower experience this summer. So we are tripling the size of the sunflower patch, and we're adding kind of a cutting garden also with zinnias and different colored sunflowers.
Zinnias. I'm trying to grow zinnias myself this year.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
A bunch of little green things poking out of the ground.
It doesn't work out. So, but so that's going to be going on. So, all of these things are just little farm-like experiences that we can do that just tap into kind of that itch people have to get that experience away from the city and see where things are going on. And in addition to that, we've also really expanded our retail and food service facilities where, our store's we've got I'm really proud of the specialty food store we have, and we have great products in there. And most recently, we've added a hard cider bar. We call it the Cider Shed at our Belleville location.
Which is such a fun place to come listen to music and just be in sort of that inside-outside vibe, which is my favorite thing about summer, is to kind of be outside, but you're maybe not under the blazing heat all the time because you have a really nice roof over your head there at the Cider Shed. Yeah. How has the hard cider kind of shifted things for you guys and helped you reach a new crowd?
We were noticing a shift in our audience already, and especially through COVID, where we were seeing a lot of young couples without kids who still wanted to have kind of this farm experience and agritourism experience. But they didn't want to go play in the sandbox or pet the goats. So, so it was trying to find what are the activities and products and ambiance that's going to satisfy that guest when they come to Eckert's and still be authentic to who we are. And that's when we started with hard cider. And we kind of did a test bar one year, I think it was in 2021, and it went over pretty good. And then we made the commitment in 2022 to build the hard cider shed. And now we're making our own hard ciders. And we, I think, have 13 or 14 different hard ciders that we're doing this year. And we only sell them at Eckert's. We do not distribute them.
Right.
And we have them at our Grafton and Millstadt locations, soon to be in our Kentucky location also, but not yet. But it's been a lot to learn. but it's been my wife and I love wine, and my brother-in-law is our cider crafter. So, he's a good friend of mine as well. So we've had a good time crafting these new recipes and learning about that part of the business. And I'm proud of it. I think our cider is very good. My brother-in-law really does a fantastic job of creating these products.
Well, and I think what's nice about your ciders is there is a pretty wide variety from like someone who's looking for that like much sweeter taste of a cider versus someone like me who I want a cider that's almost like a wine, where where it's a lot more dry, less sweet.
Yep.
And you guys really kind of cover that spectrum with them.
Yep. Yeah. And I wish there were more people like you because I like those too. But it's
like ludicrous. I think that's what it's called. I like that one.
That is my favorite as well. And we've got another one that's a bourbon barrel aged hard cider now that is, I think we're just about ready to take it out of the barrels. But we had some last year we did too, but we're doing more of it this year. Anyway, it's been a fun experiment for us, and it's a way for us to identify with our guests who are there without kids. But if you're there with your kids too, you can enjoy a hard cider in an environment that's very friendly to kids. They're not going to feel uncomfortable or awkward having your family in the cider shed. It's welcoming for everybody.
And you guys, are you doing a lot more live music again this summer as well out there?
We do. Yeah. Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have live concerts in the cider shed. And that's pretty much year round, but we bring in bigger acts in the summertime, especially Friday nights. Those are ticketed events typically on Friday nights, June, July, and August. And we have some traveling bands that we book to come in on those nights. So it's been a fun experiment all around with the cider shed.
People obviously know Belleville, but you have the other locations as well. You have Millstadt, you have Grafton, and you guys have an orchard in Kentucky as well. Where in Kentucky is it?
We're just outside of Lexington in a town called Versailles, not Versailles.
Not Versailles, right. That's right. I was like, it's like a name that we love that in our area, right?
Yep. And I would encourage everybody to go visit that part of the country because it's beautiful, and it's the Bourbon Trail. It's also the thoroughbred capital of the world, and it's just a unique thing to go see and experience. So we've enjoyed that experience as well, just getting immersed in Woodford County, Kentucky.
Yeah. Now, Grafton is open during summer months, yes?
Yes, we have black raspberries there also, so we'll be opening up there in about 2 weeks, and they will be open through October.
Okay, got it. And the Millstead, though, is fall.
Just fall, just September and October.
The fall fun farm,
Yep,
right?
There's no peaches, no blackberries. Millstead is so close to Belleville, it's really just easier for everybody to kind of go to Belleville for those hot months where, it's not, we have air conditioning and indoor bathrooms at Belleville, so it's a lot more comfortable.
But Millstead has the pumpkin cannon.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the pumpkin cannon.
Which
quite
is
the show.
It is funny, the things that like kids, I mean, what kid doesn't love, getting to help shoot a cannon? And my almost 5-year-old was talking about that literally this morning. He was talking about the pumpkin cannon. He was asking if he could shoot grapes out of the pumpkin cannon. And I was like, I think the grapes might get lost in there. But it's funny the way their little brains work. And when you think about creating these memories as we look at summer and people have it on their bucket list to come out to Eckert's, what's your hope as people continue to come visit your farm, whether it's in the summer, in the fall, in the winter, in the spring? What's your biggest hope for families around our area?
I think I don't know if it's a hope, but where I get the most gratitude is when I see Eckert's being such a special part of people's memories. So when we go to people's homes and see scrapbooks or pictures on the mantle of them picking or whatever, that is really cool to us to be such a special memory association with so many families, and not just one generation. It's a lot of times 2-3 generations of families that have come out and had that same experience. So that's something we don't take lightly. We really have a lot of pride and gratitude for that.
The thing about crops is you never know exactly when they're going to be ready. So we have linked the Pick Your Own website for Eckert's in the description of this week's podcast so you can see exactly when those black raspberries and peaches are ready to be picked. Let's dive into what's happening across St. Louis this week, June 1st through the 7th. Sunsets and Snow Cones on the Brickline Greenway is hosted by Great Rivers Greenway. That is happening Wednesday, June 3rd. Friday, June 6th is Clayton Music and Wine Festival. June 7th is Picnic in Your Park. That is happening at the Gateway Arch. June 6th through 7th is the Lafayette Square Home and Garden Tour. And all weekend long, June 5th through the 7th, is the Webster Arts Fair. If you've got an event that you think should be included in our calendar, you can reach out to us on social media. You can find us on Instagram and on Facebook, What's New in the Lou podcast. And thank you, as always, for listening.